talk, but you mentioned something to me just before we walked in here about the percentage of people's goals who sort of fail, well, not fail, but give up within a month or something.
Absolutely, yeah. So there was a stat that came out. It was US news, right? So it's a US-based one, but I'm guaranteed the stat will be the same all over the world. Yeah. So it was that 80% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions halfway through February.
That's right. Yeah.
So like basically what it means is that we start with all the right intentions, right? So January is super positive month. Like every year that we do this, January is amazing because everyone's like, yeah, I've got this idea. I want to do this. I didn't do this last year, but I really want to do it this year. We start so well. Then the standard issues hit every business owner. You know, like the staffing issues, you know, there's the time wasters on the phone. I'm not making enough money. All of a sudden, all that negativity starts coming in. We're mid-February. That goal is out of the water. Yeah. What is a business owner to do to stay motivated once they get to that February? Right.
Come on, do the intro, man. Start. Forget about your intro. Just fuck the intros, everything.
Surviving the digital jungle is tough. We're here to guide you through it on the Digital Jungle Podcast.
So welcome everyone to another podcast. Now this one's a little bit different. We've just decided, so Pierre and I literally both just got off phone calls with clients and I realized that we're both talking about the same thing. So I thought we would quickly jump in here as it seems to be a pretty hot topic at this time of year. So I thought we want to come in here, basically give our opinion on New Year's resolutions, right? So basically what I've noticed, and Pierre, I'm going to grab your thoughts in a minute, but I'll just go over my conversation and what I had was essentially, I've had a few clients since the start of the year. So we're recording this obviously, you know, early January. And we've had a lot of clients and a lot of our conversations with our clients, right, are much about what are we doing this year? Happy New Year. We're back. We're ready to get things going. And we're basically getting stuck straight into it. Now, a lot of our clients are using this time of year to sort of set themselves goals and resolutions and that sort of stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Which is good, right? We want them to be thinking long term. We want them to be thinking about their business and what they're going to do. But there's more. I mean, if business owners are like resolutions like I am, right? Which is I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to get back in the gym. During the holidays, I took the boxes off the gym set at home.
That's as far as you got, but let's be honest.
Probably like Monday, I was going to get stuck into it. It's now Friday and I haven't done anything, right?
Yep.
Because I had the idea in the holidays, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do something. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do different. So my goal is to get fit for this year.
Yep.
So that's my goal. Now, the vessel of what I need and everything that I need to do, I haven't planned, right? I've just got that end goal. And that end goal is to be healthier and be fitter. So let's use that example for a business.
Yeah.
A business's goal is, I'm going to grow this year. Okay. Now, if their goal is to grow this year, is that just what they're aiming for? Or is it something along the way to get to that growth? You know, are they doing things, are they setting the right goals essentially? Or are they just doing something mindlessly to seem like they've got direction for this year?
I think it's their intent. They wish, they want, let's put a wish or a want, that they want to grow. They want to add another vehicle or two or whatever it may be by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But I don't believe there's any thought around how or where. And you mentioned vehicle, which is very true. What's going to take you there? What needs to happen?
Yeah.
And it's not a thought. It needs to be action to do so. I believe whether it's a business goal, a personal goal, whatever goal it may be, I believe that's, and I'm the first person to do it wrong. I always said, I want to do A, B, and C this year.
Yeah.
But that's where it ends. I don't do anything about it to get there. And I think the same applies, like you said, for business. You really need to understand and put things in line. So to have things where you know that's what you need to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier how, you know, the start of the year conversations with clients is, where do you want to be this year? What do you want to do? Where are we going? What's our goals? We end the year with that sort of talk as well. And we start the year with that sort of talk. But you mentioned something to me just before we walked in here about the percentage of people's goals who sort of fail, well, not fail, but give up within a month or something.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there was a stat that came out. It was US news, right? So it's a US based one, but I'm guaranteed the stat will be the same all over the world.
Yeah.
So it was that 80% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions halfway through February.
That's right. Well,
so like basically what it means is that we start with all the right intentions, right? So January is super positive month. Like every year that we do this, January is amazing because everyone's like, yeah, I've got this idea. I want to do this. I didn't do this last year, but I really want to do it this year. We start so well. Then the standard issues hit every business owner. You know, like there's staffing issues. You know, there's the time wasters on the phone. I'm not making enough money. All of a sudden, all that negativity starts coming in. We're mid-February. That goal is out of the water. Yeah. What is a business owner to do to stay motivated once they get to that February, right? Because they've got to that point. So let's say it's growth, right? I have a plan to put on. And a really good, the example that we used was the van, because that's what my guy said on the phone. He said to me, Rhys, I want to put on another van. So more team members, more work, more everything, more expense, the whole lot. My response to him basically straight away was, are you ready for that? Is your van that you've currently got making you enough money that you can put on another one? Or do we fix what we're doing straight away? So again, his idea coming to February is that I'm not making enough money from my van. I'm not making enough money to put on another staff member. So February, that dream's gone. See you later. He's lost it already.
It seems unachievable.
Straight away, right?
Away. And life comes into play, business, personal.
Yep.
That particular client told me he's got one van at the moment.
One van at the moment.
Okay. So really, if you look at the scale, he's looking to double, which is a huge step for any business.
Massive.
Doesn't matter. Small, large, medium. He's looking to literally double his capacity.
Yeah.
Did he mention anything in terms of what he's going to do to achieve, or what he thinks he needs to do to achieve that?
So, well, yeah, I mean, we went over the standard stuff and looked at his conversion rates. We looked at how many leads he's getting and how much he does, right? He's got a guy in the van with him at the moment who was an apprentice and is probably ready to step into that van, right?
Okay,
so the
good.
double isn't as huge. It's more or less about taking his offsider, putting him into his own van to do his own jobs, right? He'll probably take on another apprentice with him, do the whole process all over again. But again, the issue that he's going to have with that then is that all of a sudden the work that he was doing on his van, which was 2 people, is now going down to 1 and maybe an apprentice, which is going to be less experienced. And that guy that relied on having him in the van with him is now out on his own.
Good point, yes.
Right, so there's a liability. There's a whole new world of problems that comes into it. So it's not just, hey, Rhys, how much more work do I need? How much more do I need?
That's the easy part.
Right.
That's the easy part. Yeah.
It's now you're doubling your problems just as much as anything else. So again, you come back to that. Okay, we're in February. Let's say this guy takes on his second van. Cool. You've ticked. Maybe we're in March. Maybe we're halfway through the year, and he's taken on that extra van. He's got that resolution's already done. Cool.
Yeah.
But now he's got a whole new world of problems. What happens to that resolution? Does he now think, wait, maybe I shouldn't have done it? Did I rush it? Now I've got more problems. What's going to happen at the end of 2022 for him? You know, is that a business that's still thriving that next year he's going to look at growing again? Or is he going to be going, man, I've done too much. I've taken on way too much. I'm all of a sudden in the wrong spot. And I think that's where we come back to the resolutions of, you know, and I put it down in one of my notes, which was, are you ready for that resolution? You know, I love the resolution of, why don't you just plan to review your business? You know, why isn't that a resolution? To work out, rather than wanting to achieve anything, why don't you just review what you're doing? Because that potentially is going to open up the right type of goal. Because every business owner naturally thinks progression, I want to grow.
Of course.
But why not improve? Why isn't improving a resolution for many people?
To get you ready to then grow. And I think, you know, we've seen it a lot where clients have grown too fast, too quick.
Yeah.
And as good as and nice as that sounds, I want to grow, and you grow, it can really bite you in the backside, bite you in the backside. So absolutely. I think what you touched on there is very important for business owners to understand, because I've got another client in mind who, same thing, who has grown and can't take on the work and turns, you know, he turns his ads off and he literally cannot take on the work. He's still working out of a pen and paper diary. There's no systems, no automation. He hasn't reviewed his actual business for him to grow. And this guy's got, I think, 4 or 5 cars on the road.
Wow, he's still doing pen and paper with that type of operation.
There's no allocating systems. There is nothing. Great business operator in terms of being able to allocate and keep his hand on the pulse.
Yeah.
But for that particular client to grow, I really believe what you said, really, you know, you hit the nail on the head, is review your business, get your systems right, make sure everything is as great as it can be. You can never be perfect, and you'll never get it to perfect, so forget that.
Yeah.
Before you grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, and I look at goals again, and I come back to myself with the gym. You know, my plan of doing this gym thing, which had all wonderful intent, and it sounds amazing, and you know, everyone's going to be really happy with December Rhys because he's going to be super fit and healthy and massive. But you know, for me, a huge part of me working out in order to get that process. So in order for me to achieve that, I need to set myself a goal and time to achieve that goal, right? So, I slot myself in a time during the day after I get home, I see the kids, I do whatever. I then got myself an hour, 2 hours to actually do the working out that I need to do. But for me, I've got to lean on other people to help that goal be achievable. So like I say to my wife, look, during that time that I'm going to be working out, can you watch the kids, make sure they're all good and I don't get interrupted? I've got that hour time to just do my working out. So now I'm sharing that load. I'm sharing that resolution with somebody else. It's making me accountable. It's making someone else accountable, but it's giving me the support to achieve that goal, right? That resolution. So if I look at it from a perspective of a business, right? So let's say we're going to go down the path. Growth is probably the one we hear the most.
Of course.
I'd like to hear more about improving because I think that's where you get your growth. I don't necessarily think you go, I'm just going to grow this year.
Yeah.
Just
and double down and spend and just
right.
grow.
And like, let's improve what I'm doing so I can get a better result from that spend or that better result from that growth. Sure. So I think I look at it from a business perspective. If we were to say, okay, I'm a business owner and I say, okay, I want to grow this year, Pierre. I want to improve. I want to double. I want to do everything that I'm going to do. I have to share that burden with other people. I need to get the support from, a business coach or colleagues that I'm with or even a marketing agency.
Yes.
I need to share that load so everyone knows what that resolution is, what my goal is and what we need to do to get it. Because especially if with a one-man band, okay, maybe it's not so much, but there's still family that's involved.
Family and business always, people say keep them separately. I don't believe you can.
No.
You want to achieve those goals, whatever the goal may be from a business or yourself, for example, with the gym. It's going to affect your wife.
Yeah.
It's going to affect your kids. You need to be accountable for it. And I think that's, you touched on it, just before about accountability. Whether it's your wife holding you accountable for it, people need to be held accountable to achieve certain things.
Yeah.
Very few people can achieve their goals without being held accountable. And I give them credit. That's extremely, extremely hard.
Yeah.
So like you said, with yourself as an example, sharing that burden, but that comes with support. You need that support. And whether it's your colleague, whether it's, for example, when we speak to our clients and we hold them accountable to a degree when we say, what did you do with that quote? What did you do with those leads?
Yeah.
Did you follow up on those leads? There's that some level of accountability where they know if we're calling, we're going to ask those questions for their own benefit, not because we just want to be bully the client, but to hold them accountable. So I think that plays a role. If you want to grow, well, your family's going to have a certain burden.
Yeah.
You need that support. If you haven't got that support from your family, your colleagues, your business coach, whoever it may be, I find it extremely hard I find it pretty much unachievable.
Yeah.
You can't achieve it unless you got that sort of support.
Well, and I think then again, that's it. If you're setting goals, because I don't want us to come across that we're saying don't set these goals or these resolutions.
Not. No.
I think I love the fact that these are the conversations we're having at this time of year. I mean, we don't need to have them at this time of year. We can have these conversations anytime. But I mean, if it's some social thing that people think they need to do resolutions at the start of each year, cool, go for it.
So be it, yeah.
But I think understanding the what you're doing, not just doing it mindlessly by saying, I'm just going to do this year. Work out your support. Work out what your actual goals are going to be. Are they achievable? Are you ready to achieve them? Or not? If you're not, that's totally fine. You don't have to do something this year. You can just do what you did last year, but just do better.
Just try and better. Everything
just do it a little bit better than what you did last 10%. Year.
That's it.
And I think one of the other parts, and again, it's that support, that accountability is all good and well. Having the goals there, what you want to achieve, and that's great. It's our favorite word here at AiiMS, which is tracking, right?
Tell me about it.
We know that we can't measure any success without tracking, and your goals and your wants and your resolutions are no different. You need to be able to track where you're going. So if your goal is to improve your systems, put things in place that you can track and basically know that you are improving. If it's your conversion rates or your add-on sales or, your client retention, whatever it is, you need to put things in place to track that performance. Because if we go back to that stat, February, everyone drops off. It's more than likely because they don't have the support, the goals weren't realistic, and they don't even know if they're on the right track or not. So if you're going to beat that percentage and you're going to get past that goal, past that time to achieve that goal, you need to support yourself. You need to put these things in place to make sure that you're on the right track.
Deadlines, for example, and it could be, you said about tracking. If you want to put a system in place at work, you don't need to do it, January 10th. It could be that by mid-year, I'm going to reach out to 5 different companies to just get an understanding of what I need. Yeah. That could be it, but put a deadline, I believe.
Absolutely.
Hold yourself accountable, not just say, I'm going to do it this year, because life happens. Life happens and things get, what I wanted to do yesterday, I'm not even thinking about today. No. Unless I've got a deadline saying, no, Pierre, you need to do A, B, and C by this particular date. Yeah. So there's a number of factors that come into play to be able to do it. You're definitely right when you say that.
I love the idea, and I use this in my personal life, and I use it professionally because I think it's just a good standard. It's a method called little victories. I didn't make it up. Someone else did. But little victories are the little things that get you to the goal, the big goal. The example that I first read, I read it in a book ages ago about someone wanting to become an astronaut, and a young child says, I want to grow up to be an astronaut. That's not his goal. He doesn't just write on a piece of paper, be an astronaut. Yeah. If you're waiting to tick that piece of paper is going to stay empty for a very long time.
Never going to be ticked, really.
No, that's it. It's not going to happen. But if you're setting smaller goals to get to that bigger goal, you're staying positive, right? You're on the right track to achieve the larger goal. Yeah. So those little victories that you can get, just, today we did this, and as you said, if the goal is client retention, set yourself a deadline of a goal to, retain 5 clients in 1 month, right? The first month, January, whatever, it's a bit of a mix up. So February, you might say, look, we retained 3 clients. That's a good win. Yep. We're not quite 5, but we'll get there. So you're on your track. Now you do 5 and you go, okay, cool. What's next? Can we go to 10? Let's do 10. All of a sudden, your bigger goal of retaining a lot of clients, growing your database and getting more money out of them, basically puts yourself in a position where you go, wow, look at how many clients we've grown each month. That, we started at 3, now we're at 25 in December. You look back at that goal that you set in January and you go, wow, we achieved it because we had that along the way. It's like you're tracking. It's like your performance stuff.
Tracking. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's your little victories,
But if you had set the 25 mark in this particular example, even by by March, you wouldn't have got there and you would have thought, oh, this is all too hard. Chuck it behind you.
Absolutely.
And you're back to the grind.
Well, imagine if your goal was 25 and you got 3 in February.
Oh, that's it.
You're stopping in February. You're like, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
I'm never going to get 25.
And you need those little motivational wins. And, someone said it to me at the start of this year, actually, is just win today. Forget what's happening in a month. Honestly, set your goals. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But just do that little win today, that little win today, that little win today. Just improve 2-3% every day.
100%.
You compound that, you're going to achieve your goals or at least come close to it.
Absolutely.
The reason I believe a lot of people give up on their goals is it just seems all too much, because going back on what you said, it seems so far away to achieve it. You need those little, and call them stepping blocks, bit by bit to achieve it. So it's interesting. And again, I don't want us to sound like we're saying don't, because I've got goals and I've gone 5 years in a row setting goals and never achieved them too.
Yeah.
Definitely not perfect at it. If anything, I'm probably one of the worst offenders, but last probably 2-3 years, a few things you mentioned there, I can look back and say, you know what, you're right. That support, that accountability, that day by day or week by week or month by month, make it achievable.
Yeah.
Don't go in saying, I've got 1 van on the road. I want 25 vans. It's unachievable. And if you do get there, you will break as quick as you grew there. Yeah, guaranteed.
Absolutely.
So I think it's those little wins. I think if key takeaways is little wins, accountability, make the people around you understand that, hey, I'm going to lean on you. This is going to impact you to a degree, but this is my goal. And if you've got that sort of support, you're a lucky person, because a lot of people don't.
Absolutely.
Or haven't got it.
Yep.
If you do, it's great. And if you don't, find someone that can give you that support. Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, I think this year we're going to do a bit more of this. I like this idea. Like when, we have the bullpen here where, we're all on the phone, we're all talking so much. There's so many good conversations that we do have, and there's a lot of business owners that are having the same conversations and probably have the same questions. So I'm going to grab you again. We're going to do this quite regularly. Whenever we get off the phone, if there's a good topic that we think that we can just, pump out a quick 5-minute video to help other people that are out there, clients of ours, non-clients of ours, who cares?
Absolutely.
It's all about that communication and that conversation. So we're going to do a few more of these videos. I think they'll be really good. So I'm going to grab you a bit more.
No, I'm looking forward to it. But it's true though. We speak to a lot of clients, a lot of people where to us, the subject may not seem as important or as interesting, but I can guarantee there's people out there that go, you know what, you're right. I was thinking about this, so let's do it. Sounds good.
100%. And no one keep track of how I do with my working out. So this next video, I don't want anyone bringing up any questions.
I'm going to hold you accountable, mate.
So the December videos, man, I'm going to be like this.
Yeah.
All right, you're my support person.
No, done.
All right, easy. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
See you next time.
Start. Forget about your intro. The intros, everything.
Surviving the digital jungle is tough. We're here to guide you through it on the Digital Jungle Podcast.